Hey everybody, it's your pal Mike Shea from SlyFlourish.com here with another episode of Sly Flourish's Lazy D&D Prep. This is a weekly show shot 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Times on Twitch, in which I go through steps from Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master while preparing for my Sunday D&D game. In this case, I am running a homebrew campaign set in Eberron called Eberron the Second Mourning. This show, like all of the material from Sly Flourish, is brought to you by the patrons of Sly Flourish. You too can become a patron of Sly Flourish by going to patreon.com/SlyFlourish and signing up. Patrons of Sly Flourish get many benefits, including access to an exclusive Discord channel. They get access to a bunch of new material that I'm working on, and some of it's already out. So a exclusive adventure called Regnum Ratus, the Rats in the Cellar, a set of adventure generators. These are DM inspired. These are tools to help inspire DMs to generate adventures built around particular adventure themes like Seven Samurai or Heart of Darkness, things like that. And the next thing is that patrons are going to get very soon, and if you're in the patron Discord channel, you can get sneak previews of this, access to Sly Flourish's, what are we calling it? What do we come to? Sly Flourish's Uncovered Secrets. So Sly Flourish's Uncovered Secrets are single-page, well-formatted rule supplements. Think about them kind of like Unearthed Arcana sort of articles that are intended to sit alongside the Lazy DM workbook and alongside your DMG to help make certain parts of running D&D easier. The first one that I did was on running hordes. If you want to know generally how that works, you can see the article on slyflourish.com. But the one-page Uncovered Secret is a single page that gets right into the meat of easier ways to run lots and lots of monsters. So I'm probably going to do about one of those a month. And they are going to cover a wide range of different ways to make our D&D games easier, many of which will be, if you're familiar with other areas that I've been focusing on, such as easier encounter building, zone-based combat, and things like that. They're all going to be like one page that sit easily among both the Dungeon Master's Guide and the Lazy DM Workbook. So that's coming up. So today we are continuing to talk about my Eberron Second Mourning game. And right now, speaking of Seven Samurai, the adventure that they've been having, they went down into Khyber in order to make their way to the city of Arldusk on their way to Eston, the ruined city of Eston. And part of the problem I currently have is that both of my groups are heading this way. Luckily, because that means my prep can serve double duty. Both of them aren't exactly sure why they're going there or what they need to do there. And worse, I'm not really sure why they're going there or what they plan to do there. So part of what I need to work on is that I have some ideas and I have some like cool adventure-y sort of things, but it's a little tricky right now. And this is where I feel like not having a published adventure hurts me because I have to make everything up. I have like a general idea about where they're going in the end, but I don't really know like what are the steps that are getting them there. Now, in fairness, like I was just spending Saturday was sort of a day off for me. And I spend my day offs doing D&D stuff, which isn't really much different than how I spend my other days. However, in this case, I was looking at Descent into Avernus, and I'm looking at Chapter 3. And I'm going to do a whole video about running Chapter 3 of Descent into Avernus once I've finished running it. And Chapter 3 of Descent into Avernus has these like sort of quest lines, like the Path of the Demons and the Path of the Dragons. Path of the Demons, Path of the Devils. But I wasn't really crazy about those, and a lot of people aren't really crazy about them. So I wanted to make up my own paths, which means I kind of had to outline like the step-by-step processes anyway, and ended up doing like a crazy diagram of how all that was going to work. So all of that exists both when I'm running the published adventure Descent into Avernus and my own home campaign of like what are the steps that it takes, where are they going, what are the things that they're going to hit in the meantime. All these are questions that I have to figure out. So anyway, I know they're heading there. And I know what the next steps are for my Sunday group because so when they went down into Khyber, they met some goblins. The goblins said, hey, we've got bugbear marauders who are trying to steal our precious dragon egg. And the dragon egg is going to hatch very soon. The marauders want to get it to stick it in their menagerie. The goblins want it because whenever there's a red dragon that lives in the lair, it makes their city very prosperous. So the characters said, sure, we'll take care of your bugbear problem, and then decided, do we want to take it to the bugbears, or are we going to wait for the bugbears to attack the town and defend the town? And they decided, let's take it to the bugbears. We know that there's a goblin spy that's working for the bugbears here. So let's get there before the spy gives them information that we've been hired and that we're coming. So they, in the last game, they went there. They were at the front door of the menagerie, which is an old Dakani ruin. Everything is a Dakani ruin. I need other kinds of ruins, but they found an old Dakani ruin that's being used as the menagerie by the bugbears. They saw the bugbear chieftain flying around on a wyvern, and they actually gave him some serious hits. Like they decided, let's hit him. So they hit him, and they like knocked him out of the saddle with push attacks, and he was like hanging from his feet. And finally he got away, and he never really made any kind of big attack on them. But now he knows they're coming, right? And they said, okay, well, we're not going to go through the front door. We're going to, let's see, why not vary up the ruins based on the cache in EXE? I don't know what that is. Is that exploring Eberron? What are the caches? I don't know what the caches are. So they went down into an underground river, and down in the underground river, they met some Dolgrims, and they fought some stuff. Oh, and I have a major problem with the way that I run my little dungeon. So one of the interesting things that I tried to do is I said, I'm going to pick a map, and I did. Why don't we go over to Notion, and I can actually show this stuff. So we are over here in Notion, and we will go to locations, and we will go to Bugbear Menagerie. So as you see, I picked a like underground rivery sort of. The Keshes are the surviving Dakani clans, Kesh Vilar. Oh yeah, what do they call them? There's a name for them. The children of Dakan or something like that. Yes, I still like Notion. So I have this like underground river. Can I open this? There we go. So I have this underground river, and I was like, okay, well, I know that there's things they're going to find when they go through here. So, but instead of like associating them with one room or another, why don't I just list out things they could find, and then I'll play it by ear. Well, guess what? That doesn't work when they cast, what's the Arcane Eye, and they send an Arcane Eye and say, we're going to explore the whole dungeon before we go through it, right? And I'm like, oh my God, now in like 5 minutes, I have to describe every one of the chambers that they have in here, and I have to do it on the fly. And it was actually not great because I had to like add room numbers to each of these. So I could say like over in this left room is this thing, and over in this right room. And so that was kind of a mess, right? And that's something I now have to be aware of, that they have a way to explore an entire dungeon, very quickly. And of course, like the same is true if you have a druid who can shapeshift into a small creature and scout out. So the question is like, I guess when you're building a dungeon, we have to go through a little bit more work to associate locations with places. And it was also hard for me to describe it because like I don't number my maps, and yet I had to number it on the fly, and that wasn't ideal. So so I don't know, like, my typical lazy approach failed because if they're able to explore an entire dungeon very quickly, I need to be able to describe it to them very quickly. And I wasn't, because I didn't have a numbered map and I didn't yet associate things with various rooms. So there's a pretty easy way to number something, and that's like you can drop it into Google presentations. I think it's called Google Presentations. Treat it like a background of a PowerPoint slide, put numbers on a PowerPoint, screenshot it, and you're done, right? So it doesn't take but a few minutes to add numbers to things. And maybe people in chat have a faster way. I need like the easiest way to take a map like this and drop numbers on them. Ideally without needing any special software on the client. Like I have, if I was doing it for realsies on my Mac upstairs, which is my primary machine, not my streaming machine, I have Pixelmator, and Pixelmator is very easy for me to drop numbers on stuff. I do it all the time for like my lazy layers and stuff like that. And it's unfortunate, I guess, that Dyson puts maps out, but he doesn't key them. So Toss Right Out says, copy and paste into Paint, write the numbers on it, then export it, or just take a screenshot clip of it. Yeah, probably. I suppose that Microsoft Paint could probably work. So I'll have to try that sometime. So anyway, they managed to get through the whole dungeon. They went up a secret stairwell that led into the Bugbear Menagerie. Somebody reminded me, hey, have you figured out that this map that you created is actually the Millennium Falcon? And I was like, oh, you bastard. Like, yeah, it is the Millennium Falcon, isn't it? But whatever. Too late now, and it's cool, right? It works. But yeah, that's the Millennium Falcon. Sure as rain. So, yeah, I guess if you're in Roll20, you can add some numbers in the GM layer. Yeah, that's true. I don't use Roll20 though, and just getting it into Roll20 would probably be a little bit of a hassle for me. So they made their way sort of up the ruins. They saw these old statues. They made their way up these stairs. They opened up that first door. They saw that there's these old like Dakani statues of heroes in the alcoves, and then a couple of bugbears walked up, and that is where the game began. So now the nice thing, or that's where the game ended last session. So that's good for this session because it will be easy to know where the game is going to start. So what we need to do now, we go back to our Eberron Second Mourning game. We go to our session planning template. We click duplicate and make a copy. Drag that up to the top. So I've got a nice one at the top. Go in here and rename this to 30 August 2020 Sunday Eberron. And we are set there. And then step 1 is review the characters. So we will go to our Sunday characters. I don't know who's coming today. We're going to find out. But Zarantir is back. So I was worried that Zarantir wasn't the player Pat had been out for a few weeks and he was off doing stuff, but he's back. And so he was back in our next game. And of course, this gets into that trick of like, what do you do with somebody who's been gone 3 weeks? And the last time you saw him, he was on an airship that was exploding. And now you're deep underground. Like, how did he show up? And I just had him walk through a portal. Like, he found a crazy ass portal. He walked through the portal. He ended up right next to his characters. And I think even in story, it's Lack brought him. I think Lack knows how to open the portals up, right? And there's these ancient portals, and Lack is able to open up the portals and connect them together. So I think Lack is the one who brought them together, and they don't even know that yet. But that might be there's a secret. Let's drop that into secrets. So actually what we're going to do is open up the Sunday characters in another. Oh, I can't do that. Error characters. And here we will go to here. And secrets and clues and Lack. And of course we can connect our pages together. Lack was the one who brought Zarantir Delander back through the ancient. They weren't Dakani, they were Moor portals. They were dwarven portals. Lack was the one who brought Zarantir Delander through the ancient Moor portal. So that is a secret. So anyway, Zarantir, see, you got to, this is why it's useful to start with the characters, is your secrets. If you can generate like your secrets and stuff from the characters, it's good. You're tying your game a lot tighter to the characters. This is really why step 1 of return, of the 8 steps, is review the characters, is that they are the most important thing in the game. We were just talking before the show about how Dwarven Forge is really cool and awesome. But the reality is, if you want to make your game better, focus it more on the characters. Like, that's free, it costs you nothing, and will make your game more enjoyable for pretty much everyone involved. So, so Zarantir Delander is a newly formed airship captain, right? And Tempest Storm Cleric, Mark of the Storm, stole his father's airship. His airship blew up, but maybe he has another one. And I don't know. I kind of want to give him the Goldbright back, but I don't know how that will work. Maybe their patron will send it. I don't know. So that's Zarantir. Saber is a shifter monk of the Four Winds. Tied in the Four Winds and can access, and I think I've made this a secret before, but Saber can access a, what is it, like a small rift. It's not a tiny, a tiny area of Dalcor shared with other monks of the Four Winds. So Saber is our monk, so he's a monk and he's a bounty hunter. Shift is a one of the first Warforged built from human stock, has a heart made out of kyber, and has her brother Crash residing in her head on a chip that she has implanted. So she has like a side character that's there. And Crash has been largely silent recently, but maybe it'd be kind of fun to bring Crash in on occasion. Shane Husk is a hobgoblin heir of not the Dakani, but the other goblin tribe out of the other nation in the southeast. I forget who they are. But he has lineage that goes back to there. And he is also an acclaimed novelist who wrote about the Last War and has written other novels. Banner is a Warforged Warforged Paladin follower of the Becoming God. The Margul, I think that sounds right. Margul? Yeah, the Margul goblin tribes. So I see that people are asking what software I use. If somebody in chat can talk about the software and link to the, I'll do it because I forgot. We'll do it right now. Sly, Flourish, Notion. There we go. All you need is to click that link. And so people come into the chat and they don't see that link. So if other people would relink it, that would be great. So that is, and then Arwen Chi Sizu is a member of House Civis, and I should get Nightbot and add some command. I really should. Yeah, I don't know how to do all that, but I'll look into adding some bots to the Twitch chat. It's a very good idea. And it can periodically, anytime anybody says what software, it'll go, we think you're looking for Notion. But who needs a bot when I have Evil John? That's it. I love you, Evil John. Arwen Chisizu is a member of House Civis, artificer, and has the dodecahedron that can lead the characters to Claw Rift. So very cool stuff there. So those are the characters. So we've now reviewed the characters, and we can go, pink, I'm happy. Strong start. 2 bugbears in the hall. Nice, easy way to go. I learned a trick here. If you go into this, I think you can go into Notion and highlight and then just link it. And now you've got a link and you can go 2 bugbears, bugbear. Kind of handy. I mean, shouldn't be as a surprise that I can link something in Notion, just not something I often do. So that's a good one. I just went to get more coffee. Boy, yeah, I need coffee. I didn't get any coffee. I'm sad. It's 10:30 and I don't have any coffee. Luckily I drink decaf, so it doesn't affect me too much if I don't have coffee. So the scenes really are, and we're going to go big, broad brushes here, right? Encounter with bugbears. What was his name? Kran's menagerie. Return to the goblin. Return to fire. What's it called? Fire spur. And then the portal to, and we're not going to send them to, we're not going to send them straight to Arl Dusk. We're going to send them to, let's go to our maps. We're going to send them. So Arl Dusk is where they want to go. I think we're going to send them to Arith. So we can send them to either Aguar Keep or Atheron Keep in the Thornwood, and then they can sort of make their way up. I think that would be cool. And then we'll make, like, there's a little bit about what these keeps are like, but I think it's more fun if they're sort of abandoned keeps left during the war, and we can add some kind of fun stuff there. So Arathon Keep is the name of the portal we're going to go to. And now we need it. Did I spell that right? Arythawn. So now we need an Arathon Keep location. So I don't know if anybody knows how to create a page. Arathon has some House Madani folk. Interesting. I'll have to look into that. But for the time being, I might change. It depends if do I want a cool haunted keep or something like that. Maybe there's other things I can do there. Type/page. Yeah, the problem is I need it to be it's not a, I need it to be a database entry in another database. It won't link to your database, right? So basically that's a problem. So I can go here and I can go to Second Mourning and go to locations, and we will do things right off the edge of the page. Click new, and we have Arathon Keep. And we're just going to put that placeholder page in there for the time being. We don't have to fill it out yet. I think you have to do it in the main database. Yeah, link one page, right? Yeah. I could create other pages. I thought about, do I really need a database, or am I better off just having subpages in every one of these places, just a bunch of location subpages? The only problem with that is you can't really do this kind of cool gallery view, I don't think. I don't think you can do a gallery view of pages. So, and you can't tag pages. If you could tag pages, which it kind of doesn't make any sense that you can't tag pages, but whatever, I guess, like, to me, the difference between a database entry and a page are so thin. I don't know why one isn't the other. It's a little weird, but who knows? Like, I think it'd be really hard for them to fix that. So in the meantime, we'll stick with what we got. So now we have an Arathon Keep, but now we can link to it. Yeah, so that's, and I don't think I need to worry too much about Arathon Keep. We'll see what kind of time we've got. So those are the scenes. I got my strong start. I got my scenes. So now we need some secrets and clues. And one of them will be the goblins know about a, it's probably, is it a, what kind of portal is it? So there could be 3 different kinds of portals, right? I mean, it can be many, it can be infinite, but, I think that, we can have a Daliker portal. I think a Daliker portal might be cooler, right? And then so you could have a Daliker portal, a Moor portal, Dwarven portal, or a Dakani portal. And I think we're going to go with a Daliker. I don't know how to spell Daliker. Thank you, Evil John. Daliker. I don't know how to pronounce it either. So there was an area that the goblins said, don't go over there. It's very bad. You don't want to go over there. And so they didn't. But I think that area might be where the goblins know about a Daliker portal that can lead to the north and leads, it will take them far to the north, but at what terrible, terrible cost. And what's guarding it is a question. There's a portal guardian, some kind of Daliker monster. So Dalikers are all about aberrants. So it could be a beholder. That would be really terrible. It could be the undead beholder. I don't think it will be actually one of the Daliker. It could be a Balhanath. I think Balhanaths are pretty awesome. Let's take a look at those. Yeah, it was pretty close. Look at these nasty things. Challenge rating 11. Oh, they're legendary. Ooh. Not a lot of hit points, though. Only 2 legendary resistance. Multi-attack. Balhanath makes a bite attack up to 2 tentacle attacks or makes 4 tentacle attacks. Tentacles, range 10 feet, 10 points of bludgeoning. Target is grappled and restrained. Bite is 25 points of damage. It can teleport along with any equipment carrying or creatures to an unoccupied space within 60 feet. Vanish. Magic becomes invisible for up to 10 minutes or until immediately after it makes its attack roll. Makes an attack roll. Whoa. Yeah, that looks cool. I'm good with that. A guardian link. And we'll add that down to monsters, right? I'll put that down here. Oh, let me look at the regional effects. Good question. I didn't look at it. Layer actions. Warps reality in an area up to 500 feet square. And terrain and reshapes and assume the appearance of a location sought by one of the intelligent creatures. Oh, that's pretty nice. Yeah, so we could randomly pick a target and be like, hey, this is a great place. Very cool. Yeah, these are all great. So I'll pick a player at random and I'll have them describe their happy place, and then say like you turn around the corner and there's your happy place, you know, and everything's great. Yeah. Oh, that'll be fun. Yeah. Oh, good times. Okay, that'll be a cool bit. Maybe they sort of have to travel through the Balhannoth. Maybe the Balhannoth is the portal, right? Ooh, even better. Like, it isn't a gate. The Balhannoth can twist reality between two places, and it's sort of real. So they can travel, but they're traveling through. Yeah, 114 hit points. Hit point, Schmidt point. You know, what's its maximum hit points? 120 plus 48, so 168. That would be the top. Yeah, it'll be higher than that. That's okay. So I'm not too worried about that. But that idea of like the Balhannoth is the portal, right? It's a living portal, and it will kind of twist people's minds, and like they're walking through their place, and maybe they see a loved one, and the loved one grabs them, and I don't know, tentacles. I don't know. We'll have to see how that plays out. But I think that can work. So I think we're good there. What else? I need more secrets. So the Daelica portal is a Balhannoth. Is alive and is a Balhannoth. That could be kind of cool. And the goblins know about it, right? They're like, it's a portal, but it's a bad portal. You know, careful. It's like the Thinny from the Dark Tower. Man, we're all about Dark Tower these days. That's not bad. Yeah. Although the Thinny just killed people. It wasn't a portal. Although, was it? Did they ever step through a Thinny? I don't think so. So, Balhannoth. Any other... So, who's the spy? The Goblin Spy is the son of the Elder, who believes they are trapping the dragon just as much as Krang, and also believes the goblins are tied. Goblins are tied to their town and need to move on. So he thinks like, we can't just stay here for all our lives, and we're basically feeding off of this dragon, right? You know, we are enslaving that dragon as much as, you know, we are slaves to it, and it needs to be that bound needs to be broken, and this could be a way. And there's no way Krang will control a red dragon. Krang is an idiot, and the dragon will get smart, and then, you know, we'll care for it and feed it, and then the dragon, when it needs to, will break away because they're dragons. So that, you know, I always like to have even the bad guys have good reasons to do what they're doing. Krang believes the dragon will be his best mount, and one day he will ride as a dragon rider. He's not the smartest. You know, he'll be dead long before that dragon even becomes a young dragon. Any other goblin, you know, secrets of the goblins? Yeah, Krang's right hand thinks he's an idiot and once take over the Black Claw tribe. Shiny and chrome. So we've got that. What other fun bits do we have? Any other kind of secrets among the hobgoblins? So they're on alert. That's something to keep in mind. We'll just stick it up in scenes here. They're on alert because they saw the attack from outside. So it could be that, oh, Krang sent a bunch of bugbears out to hunt for the attackers, including his right hand, the Devastator. So the party's ruse of attacking him and then sneaking in through the lower reaches worked, because Krang then sent out, he and his pet are recovering, while his hobgoblin war mage and a bunch of bugbears and goblin scouts went out hunting for the attackers. And they're going to be on their way back about the time the characters have dealt with everything else. Any other secrets? Secrets are important. They're a big piece of this. Anything about... okay. Let's answer the question about why the hell are they going to Arldusk? So they know that Leto Skal was trying to... So they know Leto Skal was heading to Arldusk to meet with a agent, of the Aurum named Imperi de Falarn. And Imperi knows that the only way there's only a few ways to find the center, to find the location of the Glass Plateau, which is where Metrol is, and where the weapon can be made. But probably the Daughters of Sorakal also have a way. So the daughters know how to reach Metrol. And making, sorry. Not Metrol. The Daughters of Sorakal know how to reach making in the Glass Plateau. Imperi was hired by Leto to find the way to reach making. It's making that's on the Glass Plateau, not Metrol. Right, it's making. So they're going there to meet Imperi. Imperi was hired by Leto Skal to find access. She did, and she knows that there is actually... she went into the city of Eston. She's probably in Eston now. And so a tricky bit is I want them... Well, I guess I can move. Yeah. So, sometimes I hang on to stuff a little too tight. And I've been wanting... Oh, this works perfectly. So I love the idea of Metrol, right? The city of Metrol. It just looks cool, right? And it was the capital of Sire now destroyed, and it's got all these big towers and stuff and huge dead things. But I can basically take a lot of what's going on in Metrol and move it to Eston, since they're headed to Eston anyway. Right? And the question is, where is Karshak? You know, but instead of Eston being, I can basically move the cool bits of Metrol and move them to Eston because that's where the characters are going. Because it seems stupid to make them go all the way from Eston to Metrol just because that's the way it is in the book, right? We change the world how we want it to be. And flipping Eston and Metrol is perfectly acceptable. The alternative is I could have a gateway that goes from Eston to Metrol. They step through another gateway and they end up on the other side of the Mourning, and then they go to Karshak, and then Karshak runs them to Making in the Glass Plateau, and then they get to Claw Rift, and then we have our conclusion. But on the other hand, I could just have the rail, that Karshak could be Karshak, the lightning rail, the insane lightning rail, the evil lightning rail, could leave from Eston instead of Metrol. I think that makes more sense, right? What do you guys in chat think? Like, isn't it? There's no reason that Eston is basically that was the capital of House Karnath, right? I have that right. Kenneth. House Kenneth is in Eston. And so here's a secret I can add. Things are coming together in my head. It makes more sense. Like I was always like, oh, Meston and Metrol, and have a pain in the ass. I mean, I wouldn't do it. But talk about another secret. Shift and Crash were built in Eston. So this is familiar territory. They'll go there and like, oh my God, we've been here before. So I think that can work. Distance between city and location and Eberron are really far. Presents a little bit of a challenge for me. Yeah. Well, yeah, but portals and lightning rails and airships can make that distance a little closer. So locations, we have Menagerie. We have Fire Spur. We have Arathorn Keep, which I just put in there. And we have Arl Dusk. I thought I made an Arl Dusk one. I guess I haven't made one yet. I thought I had some other locations here that I put in for my other one. Yeah, Arl Dusk. A-U-R, that's why I always get it wrong. Arl Dusk. And Eston. So, okay. That seems good. So I got my locations. I've got secrets and clues. I've got my scenes. NPCs. We have Krang. Do I have a thing him? No, I never made a thing for him. So he is a hill giant. Skinned hill giant. Oh no, I made a frost giant. We talked about this last time. Krang is big, tough dude. Whoops. That's weird. Oh, so here's a little trick. I don't need to click the link thing. I can paste a link and it knows to make that a hyperlink. If you have the link, then that's cool. So we have, so how many bugbears did we say? 30 bugbears, right? But a bunch of them are out. So you watch, I go that, bang, linked. Every time I say Krang, you think of Ninja Turtles. Yep. We have 6 goblin spies. Spy. I love the spy stat block. It's a good one. 6 goblin spies. We have an owlbear. We have a wyvern. We have a, if I recall, we had a trapped quaddle. I never knew how to spell quaddle. Whoops. So we have an owlbear. I don't really need to link these, but it doesn't hurt. A wyvern. We have a... Hey, I do know how to spell quaddle. The quaddle is wearing a... like a reverse of a headband of intellect, right? Oh, it's feeble-minded, right? Balhaneth. What other kind of cool things does he have in the menagerie? Didn't we say we already did a... Did we do a chimera? I've done chimeras before. They got attacked by chimeras that were illusions before, so I don't think we're... I don't know if we're going to do another chimera. What other kind of cool creatures would Krang have in his menagerie? Or is that good enough? I don't know. That's probably good for now. I don't think we'll worry about that too much. Is there enough creatures in here to really, like, when you're fighting him, it's enough? Maybe he has a... Oh, we were going to have death dogs, I think? They already faced death dogs. They've seen death dogs before. Thank you, Merc90. Oh, let's see here. Hang on a second. Why don't we take a look at good old Lazy DM's workbook? Sly Flourish's Lazy DM workbook. And we can, so one of the things I have in here that I dig, that I use a lot, is dungeon. I have monsters by dungeon level that kind of mimics how they did it in the original Dungeon Master's Guide from a million years ago. And in this case, they're kind of broken out by challenge level, which is nice. And you can sort of look through and say, okay, we have CR5 creatures. We have hellhounds, giant scorpions. Did they face giant scorpions? I thought they did. Yeah, I think they did. Manticore, nightmares, owlbears, phase spiders. They've faced some phase spiders. Winter wolf, black pudding, chul, quaddle, and ghosts. Lamia, succubus, werebore, bullet. Bullet would be kind of interesting. Hard to trap a bullet, though. They faced a giant crocodile. Gorgon they faced. Atiag, Roper, Shambling Mountain Troll. Just down here. And now I'm in the big dogs. Yeah, nothing's really jumping out at me. I might have a couple of bugbears. So we won't just have one bugbear or owlbears. We'll have 3 owlbears. Right, because owlbears are challenge 3, yeah. So we'll have like 3 owlbears. And maybe he has a whistle that he uses to command the owlbears. Oh, yes, they saw the Displacer Croc. Last week we talked about a Displacer Beast crocodile, giant Displacer crocodile. And they saw it and it freaked them out. And they hurled bodies from these other guys that they killed to get it to go away, and then leapt over this other thing. It worked more as a environmental challenge than as a monster, which is really kind of D&D works, right? Like we love to prepare for a official Sly Flourish rant. A lot of times we like to bound things in our D&D games. We like to think about, you have your 3 different encounter types: role-playing, exploration, combat. You have traps and puzzles and environmental effects and hazards, but the reality is like all that bleeds together. And I think it actually, you have skill challenges versus, whatever. And I think, we don't need it. We never had that stuff a long time ago. And I don't think we really need it. And I think the games are more fluid and fun when we don't think about worrying about what category things fit into. So, and this is where like theater of the mind, right? Like when does combat begin and combat end? And yeah, initiative is a big giveaway, but you can do initiative and other things. I've done initiative whenever you need to like break things down into 6-second increments. Initiative is a good way to do it. But it's fine if they can figure out how to get away from the crocodile. It's not a combat then. They didn't actually fight the crocodile. It was there and it had given him what for. And at one time, like a guy fell in the water, right? He rolled a bad check and he fell in the water, and all of a sudden he looks and there's this enormous thing and he's like, I don't know where it is, but I see it, I can see it moving around. And, so it became more of an environmental hazard than an enemy, but that was perfectly fine. Like it was, the pacing worked well for that. I wanted them to get away from the crocodile because they just fought a bunch of stuff. So there's times where like fighting in combat is good, but then other times like avoidance is better. And so, we don't have to think about it. That's one of the, there's a very popular idea called the 5-room dungeon, invented by a very, very cool guy named John Four. And I love that idea of like what the 5-room dungeon, except that the 5-room dungeon assumes types of rooms that you're going to have your role play encounter and your combat encounter and your exploration encounter and another combat, and I think that it's better to that's why I believe in situational environments. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. They're going to face those 2 bugbears. They might talk them down, right? They're probably going to fight Krang. I don't think they're getting away from fighting Krang, but a lot of it can be done in different ways, and I don't know how they're going to do it. So I've set up the situation. There are 30 bugbears. They've split up. Oh, I forgot about the right hand, the Devastator. They've run off with the Devastator. Not like an elopement or anything, but... They ran off with the Devastator to go hunt for whoever these invaders were. They're on their way back. But when they come back, maybe it's a battle, maybe it's not. I don't know how it's going to play out. I do know one thing, which is I really want to get out of this. Like, boy, I didn't expect this 7 Samurai thing to take 3 sessions. But it looks like it's taking 3 sessions. RSR70 says, what's the Quaddle's disposition if freed? It'll be very happy with the characters and will certainly help them out if it can. Yeah, almost certainly. So my rant is like, we need not worry so much about the type of encounters we're running. Instead we focus on the situations, and we keep a loose view. We expand our aperture to, like I just list the monsters out here, right? I don't say like how many are in what rooms. We'll figure that out right now. If they send another arcane eye and I got to figure it out, well, then I'll figure it out at the time. I survived last game. I'll do it this game too. I guess that's my rant, right? Loosen the grip, right? Just relax a little bit. Don't worry about defining encounter types or running combat encounters and different things. Build the situation out, figure out what makes sense for the area, drop the players in there and see how they deal with it, and then react. And then keep pacing in mind. But the thing about pacing, and I wrote an article on Sly Flourish about pacing, I think last week, right? Last week's article was pacing? Yeah, improving pacing. And the key to pacing is that it doesn't happen in prep. I probably didn't hit on this in the article, which is unfortunate. Maybe I need to edit it again, which is the cool thing about the web. I'll just go back and edit it again. A key to pacing is that when you're doing your prep, you're prepping so that you can change your pace, that you can change up the pace depending on what you need. And because you're not going to know what you need until you're actually running. And you can see our players getting bored because it's a slog. or they're having too easy a time, or, you know, you want to, oscillate your good beats and bad beats, and the action. So the pace of action matters. So you want to have like, you want to have all the tools in front of you to be able to change up the pace, right? Is it time for a really hard battle? Is it time for negotiation? You can steer the game towards the way you think it'll be fun, also based on the things that the players do that surprise you. So the prep part is filling out your tray, your work tray that you've got in front of you when you're getting ready to game, and making sure you have all the components in front of you on your tray that you're going to need during the game to tell a cohesive, fun story, entertain the players, keep the pacing at the right level, up and down, stay on time, and react to the situation. Let the situation react to the way the characters interact with it. And that's really the prep part, right? And if you're too hard about trying to prep things a certain way and trying to prep, here's this combat encounter and here's all the things. Like in the 4th edition era, we used to set up these like battle arenas, and the battle arena would have like environmental effects, and it would have like terrain effects, and it would have like high ground areas, and it would have all sorts of cover. You had to worry about cover. And it reminded me of like Gears of War, right? If you ever played Gears of War, one of the funny things in Gears of War is like you would turn a corner and you'd look and be like, well, a fight's going to happen here because they have all this cover all over, and there's that thing over there, and there's like, you can immediately tell when you're going to get to a fight because the room was built for the fight. We don't have to do that in D&D. The room doesn't have to be built for a fight. Now, sometimes you do. Boss battles, like the menagerie, stuff like that you do, but generally. Anyway, that's my rant. Don't worry too much about trying to define your encounter types before the game begins. Let the encounters fit what happens during the game and build situations and react to those. What else do we need? Treasure. So we'll go grab some relics. I always love relics. I think I got a links thing here. And we go to relics. Plain dwarven foot that casts clairvoyance. Grimy or a ghoulish idol that casts guiding bolt. Astral fork that casts inflict wounds. The blinking shadow lamp, that's kind of cool. Grab that one. Now probably he has a horde, so it's probably worth, whoops, let's go to Donjon. My place for random treasure is Donjon. We go to treasure, and I can't see it all. This stuff looks good. I'm not doing an instrument of the bards. Those things are so powerful. And we don't have any bards anyway. Gloves of Thievery. Are Gloves of Thievery good for characters that aren't rogues? Whoops. That's not bad. Gloves of Thievery would be a good one because we don't have any rogues. So I think we'll grab this stuff. That looks like a good amount of treasure. I'll stick that down in our treasure list. It has one permanent magic item in it, but not a crazy one. And we'll do one more relic. Oh, Dwarven Forge. Find traps, disguise self, Death Ward. Ancient elemental orb that casts Death Ward. Pristine vampiric mask that casts cloud kill. That's pretty sweet. Yeah, I'm digging that. Caster level 10, cast at level 5. DC 15. Cool. All right, so we got some nice treasure in there. So how do I feel about this game? I feel pretty good about it. I think, again, I've built the situation out. We should look at the menagerie map, because I might have to number the map, because I was just talking about that. And the Millennium Falcon map. And I think, yeah, so in when I did this, I actually said, like, massive hobgoblin statues, goblins by murder holes, horrific dining hall, treasure vault, the menagerie, which is down here, the old Dakani library hallway, right? That's the treasure vault where he's got his stuff. Kron's quarters. I think that works. Bugbear Barracks. That all plays out. So I think we're good there. Yeah, I've got my location all set. Cool. So, as I always do, I like to say, well, how do I feel about this game? Do I feel prepared? And the answer is yes. I think I'm ready. I got what I need. I've got some cool stuff. I really like the Balhaneth door. I'll have to think more about how that's going to play out. Of course, I tend not to, and then we'll just play it out as it goes. Like, what's the transition between them walking through their happy place and the Balhaneth attacking them? Like, how does that work? Let's do another little look at the Balhaneth. Balhaneth, I think, is that Mordenkainen's? I think that's a Mordenkainen's monster, right? Yeah, Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. Let's take a look. Limited form of telepathy, Balhaneth can sense desires of other creatures, identify images and places and where it expects. The Balhaneth then warps reality around it, remaking the environment so that it matches the appearance of the place. Never quite get all the details right, and plenty of incongruities give away the deception, but the imitation is good enough. When does it actually kick their ass, though? A Balhaneth thrives on fear and despair, taking pleasure in the horror of its victims. It terrorizes its prey. Mind reality warping powers to mask its presence until it can snatch the target. It then teleports away to feed on its victims. Got it. Oh, so it's really nasty. Right? It could grab someone and zip off with them. Lair actions are nasty. Can become invisible, like other people can't see it. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Does the Balhaneth need a lair? So when they go around and they sort of head into its area, and then it's got sort of a lair. It probably needs its own. It probably needs its own sort of weird lair that sort of exists deep in the bowels of Kyber, right? That's its place. So let's go to all maps, and let's grab a. I'm gonna scroll down. I have a tendency of picking the same maps. I'm gonna drop down into the Dyson maps, pretty far. That one's not bad. That one's kind of cool. The Hall of Patrons. Yeah, I think this will work. Open link in the window. Save image to desktop. We'll go here, and we will go to Second Mourning and locations, and we'll create a new one called Balhaneth Lair. Choose an image. Small dungeon. If only there were a product focused on monster lairs. Yeah, someday somebody will do something about that. I don't know when. Probably some awesome people. Awesome people are going to do. Maybe even make them, I don't know. You don't want just mundane lairs, right? You want something, I don't know, great lairs or awesome lairs. I don't know. I can't find the right word. I think you nailed it, Evil John. Fabulous lairs. Fabulous lairs. Somebody ought to write something like that. So there's our Balhaneth lair. Cool. I don't know if I'm going to use that map or not. We'll see. Got to see how it plays out. Let's see. I don't want that anymore. I'm just closing windows here. So I think we are good. I've got what I am looking for. I got all my prep is set. I know what we're doing. I know where a game is starting. So I think we're all set. So we will call it a day. I want to thank all of the fine folks for hanging out in Twitch chat today. Special thanks to, of course, to Evil John for helping keep things rolling. And we will be back next week and find out how things went in the menagerie. And until then, have a great week and get out there and play some D&D. Thank you very much.